Hello, I'm Paul Gravett, and I'm here to give you the first of a number of reviews of new French bande dessinée, now published in English and available as graphic novels. I'm here with the French Institute of London as part of a series celebrating this year's special year of comics in France, a whole year dedicated to BD. And I'm going to start with a book that's just come out this year from SelfMadeHero called Thoreau and Me by Cédric Tallin. This is an interesting new book. Tallin is actually a new author, only in his 40s. Started doing comics, his first graphic novel. He's come from a background in animation, design, and actually an art career doing paintings. Now, Thoreau, of course, is the famous Henry David Thoreau, the American philosopher, natural, environmental spokesperson, if you like, who carved his own vision of life and his own way of life in the 19th century in America, famously in Walden, where he lived and made his own very simple, natural way of life. And when I first heard about this book, I wondered what it was going to be, to be honest with you, because we've got a couple of books on Thoreau already in graphic novel form. A French biography was published a couple of years ago. It was produced by an artist called A. Dan and Maximilien Leroy, published by NBM in English. Quite nicely done, very well illustrated. The other books come out actually in 2008, then reissued 2018. Was a book by John Porcellino, who draws in a very beautiful, minimalist, simple line, and again was trying to recreate the atmosphere of the book of Thoreau and the thinking of Thoreau, and very much looking back to the past and producing a beautiful philosophical book. In a sense, what Cédric is doing here, Cédric Tallin is doing here, is importantly, it's Thoreau and me. The point is that this is actually saying, I'm not going to just go do a biography or an adaptation or something like that. I'm going to actually question, okay, what does Thoreau say to me now here in 2020? Brief little footnote as well. It's the first of 3 new books coming from a publisher called Rue de l'Échiquier, who have not done bande dessinée before. They're a literary general publisher. And Nicolas Finet, a very experienced editor and curator, expert on comics in France, has put together 3 books, and this is one of them. And the approach that Tallin takes with this book, with this subject, is interesting because he imagines Thoreau coming to his life now in a kind of, as he says himself, a kind of Jiminy Cricket kind of role. He appears initially looking more or less like himself, except he has a rather strange extended nose. And in fact, when he first appears, he has little horns, which suggests perhaps almost a slightly devilish atmosphere. In the second part, he turns up as a butterfly. He also turns up while Cédric's in the bath, emerging from the shower hose. And by the very end, he also turns up and reverts, in fact, to a stag, I guess, as in a deer. So he has this interesting form. And Cédric decided that he will quote from Thoreau's writings, but to make them clear that when he is quoting, when he isn't, he's come up with a device where the speech prints have a special kind of zigzaggy serration to them, so you know that that is where Thoreau's own words are coming through. Cédric himself and his character in the book here is having something of an existential crisis. He's certainly not sure about why he's making a career in art. He just sells a whole lot of paintings at the beginning of the book in a gallery show, but really questions what is the value of doing that. He's got a wife and 2 kids, 2 teenage daughters, and he's used to being the kind of caveman, breadwinner, provider, and earning money and spending money quite without very much regard. And he wants to start living in a more green, ecologically sound way, an ethically sound way. So this is what he achieves in the book. He comes to realize how relevant Thoreau is, not just for him, but for his family, and in fact, perhaps for all of our generations, not just his generation. But it brings it to life in a very vivid and immediate way. This is a contemporary retelling, contemporary positioning of Thoreau as still extremely relevant in our difficult times in the 21st century. My misgivings about the book are maybe that the drawing is at times quite light and loose and cartoony, which just gives it a freshness. He doesn't use any panel borders, for example. It's playful, it's inventive. He tries to create, of course, in moments, images of nature, which maybe are ecstatic, but are a little bit, for me, a little bit too digital, a little bit too computerized to really sweep you away and fully convince. But it raises good questions. Maybe it doesn't give all the answers, but by the end, as you'll see, he and his family have embarked on a new way of living, at least the first steps towards it. It has quite a lot of humor to it, and I think it's a very approachable and appealing way to realize the relevance still of Thoreau's ideas.